Congratulations, Catherine. A great success story from the cliffs of Moher. 1 million visitors, and it's only early November. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we were very excited in October. We knew quite ahead of the date that we were going to hit 1 million visitors this year. At one stage we thought it might be the month of November, but the year has been so strong that it moved forward. And on the 20th of October at 11:01, our millionth visitor in 2014 arrived at the cliffs of Moher. It was a lady from Florida, from Niceville in Florida, by the name of Rita Shaw, travelling with her husband on her first visit to Ireland.
Fantastic.
So she was greeted on site with a great razzmatazz.
Sure.
And great excitement.
And rightly so. And of course, Catherine, the cliffs have been here forever, but remind us of the fantastic development which the Clare County Council carried out back here in 2005 and 2006 and 2007 when you opened, of course, the cliffs visitor experience, and what success that has brought since.
Absolutely. Well, I suppose the project by Clare County Council was a long-standing one. It took over 20 years of development to reach the stage of our opening.
It wasn't without some controversy along the way.
And indeed, certainly. But we opened in February of 2007. The overall development cost at the time, €31.5 million. That included the building of the underground visitor centre and also extensive cliff edge works. And of course, so that we've now been open just over 7 years, and it's been very successful. This year we were able to invest again in further infrastructure development, so we added additional coach parking. In the coach park we upgraded the exhibition, we put in new ground floor area, and we'll be continuing to invest in the product next year.
That's fantastic.
About $500,000 this year, another $500,000 or more next year.
Yeah, that's terrific. Well, of course 2007 was a great year to have started, but like everybody else you must have been hard hit by the awful years that followed that, 09, 10 and 11. But you remained aggressive on the marketing front, and that appears to have paid off. Which markets do you now see as having the best potential for the cliffs going forward? Well,
the North American market has always been very strong for us, and very much is a core market for us. What we've seen, and I think one of the areas of great potential, is the UK market, which had fallen away during the noughties and the early years of this decade. That's growing again, and there is huge potential there. Obviously, the sort of core European markets would also be important, but we've worked very closely with Tourism Ireland in developing markets as well, and so we participated in Tourism Ireland's country club in the new developing markets with sales missions to China.
That's terrific. So you're spreading your base, in other words.
Most definitely, and I mean, this is where the future growth will come off a relatively small base at this point in time. But
terrific. And has the Wild Atlantic Way, has that helped in boosting your visitor numbers this year, do you think?
I think it has, although I think it is just the start, if you like, the tip of the iceberg, really. Fáilte Ireland launched the Wild Atlantic Way in 2014, and the signage has gone in. Cliffs of Moher, of course, are a signature discovery point on the Wild Atlantic Way. But I think the future of the Wild Atlantic Way is in the development that is going to happen in the years to come. We've seen a substantial, for example, we've seen a substantial number of film crews here on site this year, filming programmes about the Wild Atlantic Way.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
You know,
that's great.
There's huge possibilities.
Great to hear. And one of your objectives, or one of the objectives of the Clare County Council at the time of the development here, was to encourage visitors to spend more time in Clare, because of course Clare has so much to offer to visitors, both domestic and overseas. How is that working out? Has this development helped to retain visitors to spend a little more time here?
Yes, I think it has. We do measurements of where people stay the night before and the night after they come to the cliffs, and we've seen the numbers in County Clare increasing. Of course, there's been a number of great developments in County Clare with the Burren and Cliffs of Moher receiving UNESCO recognised geopark status in 2011, and the Cliffs of Moher are very closely involved in the geopark, which now involves over 60 tourism businesses that are working to promote the area as a focus for sustainable tourism and
superb local cooperation there.
Most definitely, and I think there's real traction there, and that's an area that visitors are very interested in. I suppose you might call it slow tourism as opposed to the sort of tick box bucket list tourism.
Indeed. So now that you've passed the 1 million mark, well, you must be thinking of where do we go from here. You're beginning to rattle Paul Carty's cage up there in the Storehouse in Dublin with his 1 million visitors. So can you topple them soon?
Well, it's not a race to the top. Certainly, we would have a lot of interaction with the Guinness Storehouse. We recently had a visit up to see them. Then they have a fantastic operation up there, and certainly we're not. If you like, in a race with anyone.
Course,
I think, but the reality of the situation is, the better all of the visitor attractions in the country are doing, the better for all of us.
Yeah, good products that are marketed well will always come to the top, won't they?
They will indeed, and the more there is to see in the country and in the region, the better for all of us.
Yeah. And you mentioned earlier, Catherine, that there was a lot of activity with some film crews around here, but probably a little known aspect of about the Cliffs of Moher is that they've featured in many films from going way back.
Most definitely, yes.
Do you remember
indeed.
one or two of those?
I suppose the most recent one would be Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince,
Correct,
and that's got great traction for us in some of those new developing markets I was talking about, like China and India.
Sure.
Of course, The Princess Bride back in the 90s was a very popular feature where the cliffs were the cliffs of insanity.
That's right.
But even you go back as far as Ryan's Daughter,
That's right.
and I have heard a rumour that there were scenes from the Guns of Navarone actually filmed.
Yes, I've heard that rumour too. I think it's more than a rumour. Some of them were.
Yes, indeed.
Was filmed, yeah.
And most recently, The Yank, which is currently getting awards in the United States, was filmed with Colm Meaney here at the Cliffs, and I'm sure it won't be the last one either.
Well, I'm sure that it won't, Catherine. Well, listen, well done on passing the 1 million mark. This really, I mean, this development is a fabulous example of good public sector investment in tourism. And I know that Clare County Council and others took some flack at the time, but boy, I'll tell you, the naysayers back then, they should come down and look at this. We're filming this in the second week in November, and it's absolutely buzzing downstairs. So well done.
Well, thank you very much. And as I say, the cliffs will always be a draw for people, but our objective here is to deliver really a world-class visitor experience that matches the cliffs themselves.
Well, you're doing that. We just got to get the word out.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine.